Hey guys, who do we have? Give me a second. And I'll be right with you. Bring up the old desktop. Check in and see who's with me. I see Selma's here. And I see Michael's here. Michael says, hey, Yogi. Is that Danny? Is Danny here too? Hey, Danny. Appreciate you guys being here. Sorry, I got a cat sticking claws in my back. I was just out in the woods again. Didn't see much this afternoon, or late morning, I should say. Early afternoon-ish, somewhere around there. However, it was a really good morning where I saw lots of geese flying overhead. I saw lots of deer, and I saw a fox. Got a really good shot of the fox sitting next to the deer, minding its own business, just enjoying the morning. Hey, Sniper. Nice work on the tree, Sniper. Greetings, beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. Appreciate you all being here. And Michael says, I'm officially on the road to 600 subs. I'm up to 521 this morning. Awesome. Way to go, Michael. You're steadily climbing. Hey, have you thought about reviewing your videos and cutting out some shorts? Like some key moments during your premieres that you could present as a short. As several people have pointed out, Toy Pups, for one, Eric Lapointe mentioned it as well. Goga has mentioned it, I believe. Shorts are a wonderful way to gain subscribers. And I think they are subscribers that will engage. Like I have I'm approaching 6,900. Man, my subscribers it's taken a hit. My channel's taken a bit of a hit. It's not a big deal. Everything, I mentioned this yesterday, everything sort of has that compression. Energy has a tendency to compress before it expands. Or so it seems. That is mentioned in Kabbalah, by the way. How energy will compress and then expand. So when you find yourself in those moments where things just seem to be not moving or not moving in the direction that you want, or even have the appearance of possibly moving backwards, don't panic. As a matter of fact, don't even worry about it, because know that it is exactly the way things tend to happen at times. That it is a consolidation of energy. There was a talk, man, who was I talking to? Who were we talking to this morning? Who mentioned, it wasn't this morning, it was last night. That's what happens when you get about 5 hours of sleep. Last night and this morning looked an awful lot the same, as John Prine sang. Hello.
Happy Thursday.
Hey, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks.
I never know, like when I push the button, are we going to have a conversation, or is it going to be a flyby? Is it going to be a Jace flyby?
I'll have a small sandwich.
What do we got there?
Cheese, hash browns, more cheese, more hash browns, 3 layers of bread. That's what it looks like, untouched. Not a bad little sandwich. How's Pepper's?
Little.
Tanja. Oh yeah, hope you're good. Right, so could you just turn slightly to the side? Ahead. Yes, good times are coming. If you'd have turned the other way, I'd have been like, I'm not so sure, but now you've just confirmed it. No more trimmage. Let it grow just a little bit more. Master Yoga, you'll be Master Yoga. And topless weekend. Watch them numbers go up.
Topless. They might go down.
No, they won't. They will definitely go up. Topless, but you have to do handstands.
Topless handstands.
It'll work. Works
It's been a
for
while
the people.
since I've done handstands. I actually have resorted to a cheater bench where I do my handstands with a bench because they can hold it for longer periods of time.
Okay, interesting. I should have to give that a go. But yeah, these coast streams, we need to get more different people up. So like your Dannies and your Small Faces and your Sandras, they need to interact a little bit more. They're all part of the family. We're always spending time together. Let's show each other.
I agree.
Have you seen the fish today?
No, he sent me some email or messages on Facebook.
Tried to contact him, but unfortunately, he's vanished. He's sort of like swum off. But he'll be okay, hopefully. I'll message him.
Right.
I still have a life to do.
I was going to say, you're looking for a session?
Yeah, looking for some work.
Well, we got Smile Face just popped up here.
I've already asked him. I phoned him and I was like, do you want to do a little bit of work? And he says, I'm a little bit sore. And I said, 200 burpees will sort the soreness out. And he went, I've got studying to do. I said, yeah, you study. More important things. King Dale Clark, how are you, brother?
Hey, Dale. Let me cruise through this little list here. Who else do we got that might be able to do a session with you?
I was hoping Squirrel would be for 50, but obviously if he's been up the apple trees today.
Yeah, that's true. Although, you know what, like a post-sport cool-down session, stretching the muscles out with you, that might be comfortable.
Yeah, stretches. We could do lots of stretches. Stretches are always good.
I'd like to see, here's my dream. I've seen you with Leo, and I've seen you with Jacob.
And Dan.
I'd like to see you with Eric Lapointe.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think he'd give me a good 20 minutes, and then I think he'd have the axe out, and he'd be like, "If you don't slow down, we'll chop your legs off."
Right.
No, Eric's deceptively fit. He obviously does a physical job every day. Plus, he does his best.
Yep, and he's keeping up with Reaper.
He's more than capable. It's the same as yourself. Believe it or not, when we do our sessions, I do actually work. That nasal breathing, it's something else. Really is something else.
It is.
And I figured out I can close the nostrils without touching the nose.
I'm going to keep a lookout for that.
It works. I can actually close the one nostril. Obviously, you feel just the one taking the breath. But yeah, without holding my nose, strange. It was like the tongue thing. I didn't realise that.
Wow. Impressive. That's impressive control.
Just a big tongue. Choke on it sometimes.
Speaking of, I meant to mention this Sunday. There was a comment on my wonky shoulder. Someone commented on my burpee form. And I wanted to point out that one of my favorite lines to use is, my form is as impeccable as my body allows it to be. Meaning, I go all the way down, I go all the way up. What my body does in between is due to the accumulation of scar tissue on my shoulder that I blew out in 1993. So you do what you can,
I really do
and you
apologize.
don't let it stop you.
Sometimes we do these things without realizing what we're doing. But I did have one main intention. Obviously, watching your kettlebell workout today, I realised you have bad lower back.
Yep.
Have you done any lumbar stretches?
Every day.
What lumbar stretches do you do?
I do. I can't remember the name in Sanskrit. It is the pal pose. And the
Describe it to me.
on your back. Well, I do it from a shoulder stand, and then from the shoulder stand, I raise my legs behind my head until my fingers hit the floor. Hey, back girl.
Okay, so that's a compression stretch. Obviously, you're using the angle of your body to get that compression to open up that joint. What you need to try also is a lumbar stretch that's supported, body weight supported. So what I want you to do is, I'll send you a little video, but you're basically going to find yourself a work surface or something flat you can stand against. You're basically going to put your hands, get this so you can see, you're going to put your hands down, nice and straight, bring your body in towards it, and when you get to that point where all the weight are onto your arms and shoulders, you put your knees against the work surface that you're leaning against, and bring your feet up onto your tiptoes. So all the weight of your body is up onto your arms and shoulders. The weight of your pelvis and your legs actually pulls that lumbar. You get a stretch. Hold that for 20 or 30 seconds. Repeat that a couple of times a day. You'll find you'll get a lot more ease in the back. And it's one of the only natural ways to obviously stretch yourself using your own body weight that's perfectly safe. So it's putting your arms down, create a platform, lift your weight up onto your arms and shoulders, bend your knees backwards, bring up onto your toes with your feet. Your legs will go at an angle, toes will obviously be touching the floor, and you'll just hold that supported. Hold it for 20-30 seconds. The weight in your lower body actually pulls that lumbar, gives you that stretch in your lower body.
Okay. I definitely have to see a video.
I'll take a little video. I'll send it to you.
Okay. I do a lot of forward bends, standing forward bends, seated forward bends. I do locust pose where the legs are up behind. If you're on your belly, your leg goes up behind. I do what else? My entire routine is spine focused for several reasons. Hey, Miss Pepper. For one, I want to concentrate on Kundalini energy, the spiritual energy along the spine. In 1990, I herniated a disc in my lower back and never got it treated. And every so often, it'll shift. I feel it go out of alignment. And I don't know if you heard this story, that a little over a year ago, when I still had a car, I had two cars parked too close to mine. That made it almost impossible to get in. And Mocha said, let me climb in the back and pull the car out. And I said, I'm an advanced yogi. I can go one joint. I can go like water. I can go one joint at a time. I can flow in this little space. I don't need you to do that. Watch. And I went in and it was working. One little joint, starting with the fingertip. And when I got towards my back, I felt it shift out of place, like it was nerve on nerve. Yeah, and it did my best because Muck was watching not to make a sound, but she knew something was up. She's like, "You were smiling, and now you're grimacing." And I like slowly disengaged. And then, of course, they said, "Let me try one more time," which was the stupidest thing in the world. No, but hey. You know what? When you have your hot ex-wife looking at you,
you got to try a little bit harder.
You got to try.
10 minutes. Apologies, it was a long one, but that lumbar stretch, I thought about it earlier when I was watching your video, as I say. And if you guys and girls haven't seen Eric doing his kettlebell workouts, they're really good. They're hard. He doesn't mess about. And that's where you get your strength and that from. And your belief is that you're going to achieve something at a certain period of time. Keep working towards it. That's what it's all about. Progress. Constant
Thank you,
progress.
Jace. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to trying that stretch.
Topless though. It's the way forwards. And if you get the numbers, that's your way forward from now on.
Topless.
It helps. Little things help. Right, I'm
It
going to
helps.
leave you and finish my first sandwich. I might just make another one. But yes, just for you guys and girls. I don't normally do this.
Mukbanger Jace. Our friend Jace with the world's biggest sandwich and some excellent, excellent advice. Thank you, Kat. How are you? Nice to see you here. Hey, Sonia. Zenith thinks the treat is for her. Miss Blipper, how are you, my friend? Kat says, my nose has been running incessantly for 2 days. I'm getting exhausted trying to catch it. Wow. Cold or allergies, maybe? Kat says, I do not know what a mukbang is. A mukbang is an eater, someone who, I don't know if they do actual eating competitions, but they'll do videos of them like eating an insane amount of food or like a really big piece of food. Sniper says, Jace, maybe we could do some new stretch techniques for my back. I will definitely try the one you just mentioned. Tanya says, I personally prefer clothes on. Danny says, Jace, enjoying your sandwich. Of course, says, call me and we can do some. Nice. How are you, Ryan? I appreciate the kind words from Jace. He has a keen eye. You know, he noticed my hurt back. I've gone for long stretches of time. When I heard it in 1990, deadlifting. Oddly enough, I was training for powerlifting competitions. I was deadlifting over 400 pounds. I heard it with 225 warming up. Just one of those things. And it took me a year to come back. I kept working out, but I had to do everything seated. So I did mainly bodybuilding stuff, all seated. Kat says, I think Walmart shoppers have finally given me some type of cold. You said 2 days. So you taking anything like natural? Taco says it's a block of cheese, not a sandwich. Jason says back girls no. Well, a block of cheese and some bread. Yeah, so mostly, since I heard it, it's really only caused me issues less than half dozen times every so often. And then this shift that happened with me being ridiculous in front of Mocha. Almost every ridiculous thing I've ever done has been trying to impress a girl. And you would think I was 58 when this was happened. You would think I would be smarter. 58. You think I would not show off to someone that I had been with for at the time, 22 years? Song who says, how did you get crawled in the end? She crawled in the back. Excellent question. You know what? I still think I could have done it. I still think I could have done it. Becco says, scroll a chainsaw. Surprised you still got some limbs. Oh, I constantly can feel where I landed on my chainsaw. I always feel like I need to arch forward and shoulders forward and neck back. I hope the stretches work. Kat says, no, I have some, but I have some elderberry tinctures I could start using today. Start using. Yeah, elderberry is really good for you. Hey, retirement, how are you? Appreciate you being here. Jace says, retirement, hi, Betty. Danny says, retirement comfort foods, more with the wave. Our friend Danny says hi to everyone. I hope everyone who live streams, I hope everyone who live streams has a Danny as a moderator. Just someone who warmly, I hope you have actual Danny. Just someone, hey, Brian. Brian says, so Yogi, hope you well. I am, my friend. How are you? Just someone who warmly, kindly greets every single person that comes into the chat without ever like making a big deal out of it. Just say to Brian. But anyway, I was talking about Jace. A keen eye to able to, quite a few people might watch me train with kettlebells or in the past, literally doing hundreds and hundreds of burpees every single day. And they might not notice that there's an issue with the back. But Jace has got, this is what makes him a standout trainer. The ability to lock in and see what's going on and then offer ways of dealing with it. It's pretty impressive. Some trainers might look and say, I see you moving a little different, a little slow, a little whatever. Suck it up, man. Keep getting those reps. As I mentioned today in my session, it was a really short session. I did, it was less than 5-minute workout. It's my recovery workout. I did a set of pull-ups. I did 30 burpees. I did a set of chin-ups. Went and did my second round of yoga. Not everything needs to be a workout. Not everything needs to be a hardcore session. Sometimes you just need that gentle motion, you know? I had already walked 5 miles in the morning, 4 miles in the morning. I just did a second walk run for about 1.5 miles. So I've done 5.5 for the day. Might do one more walk after dinner. Sniper says, back roll and company, the falling was never the issue. It was the landing I need to work on. You'll nail it. Brian says, hey, Jason, Danny, hope you all are well. So, Brian, how are you? Jason says, squirrel, falling with style. And the back row says, squirrel was out of a tree. 40-foot pine tree stem. It's a big fall. In the big picture of things, very fortunate indeed. Danny says, bless you, Yogi. Thank you, Danny, and bless you too. You've been a good friend of mine. You've been a good friend of the channel. We're getting 50-degree days coming into the end of January. I wrote about January this morning. It's on my community page. I've been posting all of my writing on my community page. You know what? Even if you're not putting out content videos, make use of your community page. Share people out, channels that you support, channels that you like, people that you like. You could always share photographs as well. You know, if you're not doing video content, the community page in and of itself is a viable social media outlet. Great way to help people and to put up your own artwork if you want. So you don't even have to do a single video on YouTube if you don't want to, and make use of the community. I've been posting, mentioned before, I've kept a blog since 2000 or 1999, something like that. And this is actually my third blog. So I write my blog and then I post it on Facebook. And I've been about a month or so, I've been sharing it on my community page. So if anyone wants to see the type of stuff that I write, which is the same type of stuff that I talk about. Brian says, hi, Kat, and Jack, and Tandra, and Batgirl and Squirrel. But yeah, anyway, I wrote about January. January traditionally being a tough month for so many people. If you suffer from seasonal depression, January is going to be tough. End of December through January. If you just have low-lying depression, January is tough. If you don't even have depression, January can be tough. It's a hard month for so many people. February gives me hope. Lightens my heart a little bit. Days get just noticeably. The sun is now coming up at 7. I think it was 7:15 this morning. And each day it's a little bit more, almost a minute gained. About a minute gained, little minute and a half, maybe every 2 days, and it's noticeable. And it's like I said, it's getting up to 50 the past couple of days, and it's supposed to. I think that trend is supposed to continue for a while. And here's the thing about February. February offers some truly spring-like days, sometimes going in the 60s and the 70s. And if it turns cold again, you sort of shrug because it's February. You expect it to be cold. So any warm day in February is a gift, and is treated as such. March, on the other hand, is a heartbreaking month because it's supposed to be spring. And then you get a blizzard, which we've gotten on more than a few occasions here. Batgirl was waving at Brian. So my own low-key depression that has been present since I was a kid would worsen in the winter. However, last several years, still there, but it doesn't have quite the same effect. I've mentioned this before. I'm often asked, is it because, decades of meditation has taken hold? Probably. Decades of breath work has helped? Probably. Yoga asanas every morning for 40 plus years? Yeah, probably has something to do with it. But most of all, for whatever reason, just the open-hearted acceptance of what is present. If you are experiencing depression, if you're experiencing grief, if you're experiencing sorrow, whatever it might be, it's okay to experience what you're experiencing. It does not have to change, but it will. It will change. If you try to force it, now you're adding suffering into the mix. This is why the Buddha said, life is suffering. He actually said dukkha, which is Pali language for transient, temporary, and that we suffer because we cling to the transient, or we are seeking to push what is present away before it's time. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel grief. I don't want to feel sorrow. I don't want to feel sadness. I don't want to feel depression. Here's the hard truth. Guess what? It's here. What are you going to do about it? There's all kinds of stuff that people talk about. Hey, Austin. Simply says, last of 6 pine trees. I only needed to take the top off, come down, and fell the stem. Problem was I clipped my safety carabiner into my t-shirt, which kept the class open. I went to put my main line in the Absol down. That's when I flew for the first time. Wow. He says, I see the sunrise most days. It sure has got earlier and been awesome this week. It has been. You and me both, Jace. Yeah, I've become a deep connoisseur of sunrises. It has such, sunsets get all the fanfare because they're very dramatic. They're absolutely beautiful, but they're dramatic. Sunsets are usually a little more subtle, pastel. I'd liken it a comparison between the sunset Vincent van Gogh with those vibrant colors, thick. Van Gogh has texture versus the Monet of a sunrise, soft and pastel. Zeppa says, falling unknowingly is a very interesting sensation. I bet. It is an interesting sensation that I will take your word for. She says, Dan Bro. Oh, hey, Dan, how are you? Poor man says, sup, Yogi Man. What's new, Dan? Tony says, Scroll, hope you're okay. Hey, Roy. Roy says, hello, Yogi. I've read Rumi's The Guest House, haven't I? Of course, Rumi is one of my all-time favorite poets, and this is one of my all-time favorite poems. This sums up the release of suffering, the release of, or not adding suffering into the mix of what's happening. Suffering is optional. Grief isn't optional. We're all going to experience grief. Sorrow isn't optional. We're all going to experience sorrow. Pain, all of that. But suffering, psychological suffering, is optional. And the way we recognize that is, according to Buddha, according to yoga, psychological suffering is when something is occurring and we refuse to accept it. We do everything to push it away. And there are some tools that you can do, but again, it just sort of adds to the a level of misery to it. Anyway, this is Rumi. Rumi was a great Sufi mystic, poet. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be cleaning you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. My cat just meowed in agreement. My cat is a fan of poetry. Just says, Eric, but I straighten hard and dry when it goes in, and bendy soft and sticky when it comes out. I'm afraid to hazard a guess. What is straight and hard and dry when it goes in, bendy soft and sticky when it comes out? We're not talking about your sandwich, are we? Danny's waving at Austin, poor man. I don't know, Jason. Like I said, I'm hazard to make a guess. Hey, William, how are you? Our good friend William Hart is here. Super says that was exactly 15 years ago, Tandra. Took 14 months to learn to walk again, and climbing the first tree was over 50 feet taller than my fall. So to make sure I had my wits still. Super says, Jace, Wambar. Cat says, well, squirrel. Or Jace says, Squirrel, I did similar when my bike hit the wall. Wow. Chewing gum. Ah. Why did my mind immediately go to the most gross? That tells you guys more than you need to know about me. Hey, Wolf. Wolf, how are you? Hi, it's Yogi and everyone. Jace says, Wolf. Wolf, how are you? And how is Barb? And William, how are you? Nice to have some of our old friends hanging out with us, even if it's just to come in and say hi. Cat's waving at Wolf. Sniper says those stonemasons have had a lot to answer for. Fancy building a wall on the road. That's a good. Jace, how did you hit the wall? Danny says hey to Wolf. Wolf says hi, Jason Sniper. Hey, Wolf, did you guys get any of that snow down there? Sniper says, Jace, how long ago, mate? So again, that was Rumi. I turn to that often. I turn to poets across the board very often. Rumi, Blake, some of my favorites. Samuel Taylor Coleridge and his poem What If? Sure, you guys heard that. Let's read that again. It doesn't pertain to what I've been talking about, but you know what? Who cares? It's beautiful. And sometimes that's all you need. A little bit of beauty. What if you slept? And what if in your sleep you dreamed? And what if in your dream you went to heaven and there plucked a strange and beautiful flower? And what if when you awoke, you had that flower in your hand? Ah, then what if? Pretty awesome. Which reminds me, of Chuang Tzu, the Taoist, who don't know if I can find the actual poem. Maybe I can. Let's see real quick. Here it is. Chuang Tzu said, once upon a time I dreamed myself a butterfly, floating like petals in the air, happy to be doing as I pleased, no longer aware of myself. But soon enough, I awoke, and then frantically clutching myself. Chuang Tzu I wonder, was Chuang Tzu dreaming himself the butterfly? Or was the butterfly dreaming itself Chuang Tzu? Of course, if you take Chuang Tzu and the butterfly together, then there's a difference between them. But that difference is only due to the changing material form. One of my favorites. It's been a while since I sat and read some poetry with you guys, and often I'll do requests. So let's do that. Anyone have a particular poem that they like, that they want to read? Wolf says, I'm having lunch, but Barb is not feeling well today. I'm sorry to hear that. Please let her know that I'm thinking about her, sending some love and some prayers her way. She says 4 years ago now, Squirrel. Squirrel says, hey to Wolf, good to see you, buddy. Says fractures. Wow, 7 inches of snow. How long has it been since you had seen snow at that point? Jay says, Yogi, have you ever heard about the musician who turned a corner into a square? Then he performed. I have not. I take it that you are the said musician. Clark says, or Dill says, it's a darker poem, brother, but one of my favorites is Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. I don't mind a dark poem. Edgar Allan Poe is from my neck of the woods, Baltimore. Some form of the poetry are harder for me to read. The language doesn't flow as well. Let's see. I got some more claws in my back from courtesy of my cat. I think she has a poetry request. So, Edgar Allan Poe. From child, let's see. That might have to wait. We're going to chat with Jace for a minute.
Got a bone to pick with you.
Obviously, that sandwich wasn't enough, so now Jace is going to dig into a bone. Someone's excited. Hey, quick question. Is the toy still in existence?
Right. So that brand new toy that we that she had was all nice and colourful. There's not. Yeah, it's been it's not a new toy anymore. And as you
No,
can see,
it has
those
been
colourful bits-
xenonized.
Yes, xenotized. Xenotized. That's the new word. Xenotized.
Xenotized.
Right. Happy days. Yeah. Obviously, you have that weird mind. It was obviously going to be clean and PG. This is your channel. I have to be respectful.
I
But
appreciate
yes,
that.
you'll probably remember that one.
I will.
And
I hope.
you have this little glow on your face now as if to say, oops, yes, I've been naughty. You naughty boy. You naughty boy.
My mind did
Right.
go there. My mind did go there.
Look, Olympia. 1 minute 16. Not too bad this time. Small face. Ooh, not a lot. Just a bone. Catch you soon.
Take
On
care.
toes.
Our friend Jace. Wolf says lasted 3 days. Batgirl says, what if you don't dream? Here's the thing. All of us dream because it's the third state of consciousness, but not all of us are aware of our dreams. That's the difference. And you can become aware of your dreams. Setting the intent before you go to sleep, saying to yourself, you can say to yourself until you fall asleep, very gently, not like a mantra, that I will fall asleep. And in my sleep, I will dream. And when I wake up, I will remember my dream. And then first thing in the morning, when you wake up, have a pen and notebook, write down anything you remember. And at first, you might not remember anything, but as you practice, you'll start to become aware. And then you can introduce with, and in my dream, I will be aware that I'm dreaming. And now we're entering into the world of lucid dreaming. Let's see. So Wolf says lasted 3 days for that. This is Danny. She sure is. We say you're barking, you're mad. Poor man is going for broke today. What's that mean, Jace? Or poor man? What do you This is the second to last day with the 40-pound vest. Makes me wonder what he's got up his sleeve. Wolf says I saw that Ireland had a bad storm recently. Actually, I think all of the United Kingdom had a pretty bad storm earlier in the week. William says I'm getting by, ready to move. Where are you going to move to, William? King says, do not stand at my grave and weep. I am going to get to that. And any others that you want to read for a little bit. Zipper says, bankroll and company, in my own opinion, I would say it's impossible. It's just your subconscious state has strong barriers which keeps us from remembering. I agree with Sniper. Again, it's the third state of consciousness. You actually have to enter that dream state, even if we don't remember. Because in order to get to deep sleep, the third state of consciousness, you need to first enter into that the rapid eye movement. Wolf says 2015 or 6, I think, but only about 2 inches. Danny says, Yogi, tomorrow we're getting soaked. We're getting some rain too. Not sure how much. Wolf says, looks like she had fun. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Small Face says, just got back. What did I miss? That's a big bone. It is a big bone. She says, I tried that once. Should have seen my face when I woke up. Small Face says, I realized just today, being outside, the amount of illusions I've had every time I felt my emotions get out of control. Realized I was doing it to myself by projecting illusions that made me feel a certain way. All a projection, every bit of it. It's a big realization. It's a big insight. Small Face. Dan says, hurting, but gonna try to make something happen, Yogi. Man, it's almost scary to think about. You don't think someone like Dan, someone like Jace, someone like Reaper, Jacob, Leo can step things up, and then they do, and you're just left with your mouth hanging open. Smallface says, so just imagine a straight line, like lying in a hospital bed when they measure your heartbeat. When it dips straight, helps a lot. It's good to have those tools, you know, the little things that we can do. Hey, Vamps. Vamps is lurking. I appreciate that, Vamps, you being here. Dace will be right back. Our friend Mama Chris is here in Nature's Dog Realm. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you. Hey, do we have any scratch-off action going on later this afternoon? Small face, slow nature. All right. Give me a second, guys. This is Edgar Allan Poe, Alone. This is for our friend Dale. From childhood's hours I have not been, as others were. I have not seen, as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken, my sorrow I could not awaken. My heart to joy at the same tone, and all I loved alone. Then in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life was drawn. From every depth of good and ill, the mystery which binds me still. From the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm and the clouds that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. Yeah, I can see what you mean by dark, but a dark beauty there, Dale. He also has a poem. Chris says hi to everyone. Smallface says, Nature, you going live today? Tanya says hi to Vamps. Jace waves to Nature. Oh, Smallface says, in Nature, do you still not believe that I was with Jace? Dale says, it's a poem which I feel inside because I've always been alone in life. Gotcha. I can understand that. Hey, Dale, have you ever read any Charles Bukowski? Danny says, "When where's Madface?" Hey, that's a good question. I forgot to ask. We had Joshua pop in last night. I forgot to ask. Let's see. Chris says hi to Danny. Charles Bukowski is a poet. Not everyone appreciates. He can be a little dark. Here's one of his famous ones. It's called Bluebird. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anyone see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke. And the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. You want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes when everyone's asleep, and I say, I know that you're here, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, but he's singing a little. In there, I haven't quite let him die. And we sleep together like that, with our select pact. And it's nice enough to make a man weep, but I don't weep. Do you? That is Charles Bukowski. A little dark, but that hint of optimism, that hint of love. Dill says, I heard a few of Charles, but not many. I need to. Hey, Robbie Blake. How are you? Smallface says, it was me and the guy with the curly hair. Nature, I'm not lying. He's not lying. Chris says, it wasn't you on Jace Live. It was someone when I heard the name. Danny's waving at Robbie Blake. Smallface says, it's me. I swear. Sample says, Eric, I asked Grok, which is the LACID AI librarian. Sorry, guys. For some reason, my computer just shifted. And it's true that as of 2025, it has been about 1,700 years since the Nag Hammond's text had been buried and hidden. Yes was the answer then. Huh. I was considering buying a translation by Pagel. I can't remember her first name. Pagel's her last name. Translation of the Gospel of St. Thomas. Chris says, and why did Jace call you a different name than Smallface? Zephyr says, I asked, was the Nag Hammond text buried because of the church? Yes was the answer. Yeah, I can see that. It takes away too much power. It puts power directly on us. And of course, a lot of the Gnostic texts talk about the illusory world, also talk about rebirth, reincarnation, which again takes away power from the church. Smallface, yes, he said Smallface. Dale says, yes, little hint there that gives some hope, I feel. Yeah, absolutely. William says, as everyone has an opinion on my affairs, I am saying nothing anymore. Happy I am washing my hands of this family. I know it's been difficult for you, William, our past conversations. Whatever you do, wherever you go or end up, uh, just sending you love and wishing you the best. Smallface says, Eric, why does nature not believe that I was with Jace? It's a good question. Nature, why don't you believe that our friend Smallface was with Jace? I think she's just pulling your leg. Oh, she wants to know if you're a troll. That's a good question. I can understand that. Well, let's see. I've known, I've known Smileface for, I guess, about 2 weeks, and it feels like a long time in the best possible way. He has been a great addition to my live streams. Um, a really good guy. I appreciate him being here. That's my endorsement for Smileface. 2 weeks feels like it's been a year in the best possible way. Jason says, there's a guy called Eric. We haven't had a poem from Jason in a while. There's a guy called Eric. He has a little beard. He also has a cheeky smile, and sometimes he's a little weird. He gets behind with reading because it's not that fast, but then he skips just one or two and makes it to the last. That was beautifully, beautifully written and so factual. That might be the most factual poem that I've read on here. Smallface says he sweats Smallface. She says, oh, I read that. Dill says, I don't know who it is by, but I am sure you have heard of the fantastic poem, Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep. Do not stand at my grave and weep. Is that Death Be Not Proud? Claire Harner. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Beautiful. I had not read that before. That reminds me of Thich Nhat Hanh in his book on death. And he talked of, I've read it second or third time as it was right towards the end of my father's days as I was caregiving for him. And he talked of not missing his mother because he was awakened to the fact that every molecule, every atom, every particle that had made up his mother's form was now making up a flower petal, a tip of a wing on a bird, a single blade of grass. The particles were continuing. The form that was his mother was now part of the formlessness itself taking shape as something other. And the energy that held that form together was ever present and would be ever present. How could he miss his mother when she was closer now than ever before? And reading that in the days leading up to my father's death and having that realization as I was walking, I remember the exact spot that I was walking and thinking my dad, a science teacher, how he would absolutely love hearing that. and knowing that he was going to be something measurable by science. The structure of the universe itself, complete. Hey, Goldie. All right, let's see if I can catch up. Oh, I'm going to read one of my all-time favorite poems now. Nature says, "I believe you now, smile. Face, can you not analyze me so much of my lives, please?" Oh, Small Face says, "Nature did not mean to freak you out." Jace says, "Nature Small Face is the one who has hair like my wig." So Chris says she was a little freaked out. The conversation was going now, freaked me out, and others out. Jay says, "Smile face, use less emoji." Yes, less emoji, more smile face. More you. Dog Realm says, oh, Chris says, "I believe in now, smile face. Can you not analyze me so much in my lives, please?" Dill says, "There's a poet I have came aware of just recently named, I believe, Fernando Pizzezo. He really captures the essence of life in his poems, with a touch of non-dual understanding." I would look for that. I would look for him. Sorry, guys. So I cut and paste. I'm going to read something else real quick, but let me catch up a little bit in the chat. Cypress says, "I asked if the story of Jesus in the Nag Hammadi text, yes was the answer. I asked if the crucifixion and the stories of the miracles he performed, no was the answer." I love the definition of miracles as offered by A Course in Miracles. A miracle is a shift in perception. So when we ask for a miracle, we are not asking for bread to be turned into body of Christ. We are not asking for water to be turned into wine. We are not asking for seas to part. We are asking for a shift in our perception. Can I see what I'm experiencing? Can I see what I'm perceiving? In all of my misery, in all of my grief, in all of my sorrow, can I perceive it a different way? Can I be open to a shift in that perception? And as the Course says, there's no order of difficulties in miracles. And at the same time, there's no hierarchy of illusions. An illusion is an illusion is an illusion across the board. Bill says he considers life a dream on his poems, but also talks about the emptiness of life. Interesting. Squirrel says, "I asked if the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are mentioned in the Nag Hammadi text. No was the answer." Goldie's been lurking in both accounts. So what do you make of that, Sniper? So some of the Gnostic texts, I believe, predate the New Testament, or at least the formation of the New Testament. Some purposely left out. Software says, "Okay, Nature, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I was just laying down after a workout and couldn't come up with a better thing to do than analyzing." All right. We got some love from Walking with Goldie. We got some love from Jace. Look at all those hearts. Let's see. Goldie says, "Now you know I have a different opinion on the crucifixion and miracles." I do. However, those are my convictions. Yeah, and I do enjoy talking about them with you, as we've both mentioned. I love my conversations with Goldie because it's never a let me let me convince you and a no, let me convince you. Never gone back and forth like that. It is very gentle listening. And the reason, because my respect for Goldie and her convictions um, are without limit. So why would I convince her of anything other? And I know that Goldie um, also knows I'm open to listening to her, but she knows I have my own convictions and she doesn't try to change my mind, but she adds to it immeasurably, which is pretty awesome, which I very much appreciate. So I'm going to read one more poem, maybe my all time favorite. Here it is. This sums up. This sums up my channel. This sums up my mission in poetic form. This is what I seek to do on every single live stream with varying degrees of success. And I'll explain afterwards. The bud stands. Oh, this is St. Francis and the South by Galway Kinnell. The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower. For everything flowers from within of self blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. To put a hand on its brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch, it is lovely, until it flowers again from within of self blessing, as St. Francis put his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and told her in words and in touch blessings of earth, and the sow began remembering all down her thick length from the earthen snout all the way through the fodder and slops to the spiritual curl of its tail, from the hard spininess spiked out from the spine, down through the great broken heart, to the sheer blue milk and dreaminess sputtering and shuddering from the 14 teats into the 14 mouths sucking and blowing beneath them, the long, perfect loveliness of the sow. So, speaking of convictions, speaking of message, speaking of what I want to do in every single live stream that I do in every conversation, is reteach a thing its own loveliness. To remember my own loveliness, as it's often forgotten. To help you remember your own loveliness, because I bet it is often forgotten, or at least sometimes it's forgotten. To reteach a thing its loveliness, to put the hand on its brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch, it is lovely, until it flowers again from within of self blessing. What if you went through the day with that one conviction? My mission, my role. Can I reflect to you your own loveliness? Can I offer that to you? Can I be a mirror for your beauty? Can I retell you in words and maybe in reflection, maybe in just a smile, your own loveliness until you flower again from within? Can you do that for me? Imagine the world. All right, I misspoke. Instead of the last thing I was going to read, but that got me thinking of Thomas Merton. Two things. Thomas Merton, the great Jesuit priest. See if I can find it, guys. So here it is from Thomas Thomas Merton. Then it was this was from his own awakening. Then it was as if I suddenly saw the secret beauty of their hearts, the depth of their hearts, where neither sin nor desire nor self knowledge can reach, the core of their reality, the person that each one is in God's eyes. If only they could all see themselves as they really are. If only we could see each other that way all the time. There would be no more war, no more hatred, no more cruelty, no more greed. I suppose the big problem would be that we would all fall down and worship each other. That is arriving at our own self beauty. Big fan of Thomas Merton. All right, let me catch up with you guys. Small face smiles at Goldie. Goldie says, "Nope, I read that from Goldie about her opinion on the crucifixion. Sorry." Um, Goldie says, "Same here. It's never good to be an echo chamber." Absolutely. Many times it is great to see faith from different points of view. Yeah, I agree. And how important it is to have a heart open enough to listen to those points of views without rushing to say, yes, 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 I heard you, but you're wrong. Smallface says, I hope you realize that Jason has a whole drawing of you, Eric. I do not realize that. I did not realize that. I don't think I do. Has he shown me a drawing of me? What he says now is working here with FAMPS. We put the tablet back to your to Tandra, to your channel soon. Nice. Tandra is inching closer and closer. Oh, Tandra is no longer inching. She is now leaping. We are days away, days away. Cypress, or I'm sorry, Smallface says, when you come up with a poem, what's it called? It's a word. Can't come up with, don't think it's nostalgic or creative. Uh, Epiphany? Insight? What he says, McCarty, the tablet just played an ad on your live stream. Nice. It should make the ka-ching sound every time that happens. Every time someone lets me know that an ad is played, I should have a little cha-ching emoji that comes up. On a serious note, I appreciate you guys watching the ads. If it ever gets too much for people, let me know. Smallface says nice and true. Or I'm sorry, Chris says nice and true. Smallface says we are each other too. It's kind of crazy. Small says I'm quite philosophical. You are. I appreciate it about you too. I enjoy our philosophical conversations that we have. Smallface says he went live with a drawing a day or two ago, where he joined you live and showed you too. Oh, I did see that. I believe. A little scary. Hey, Jennifer. Jennifer's journey is here. Says hi, Yogi in chat. Hello, my friend. Founder says yes, getting there, Yogi. Goldie says hi, I love the Goldie. Jason says Jennifer, hiya. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if anything Jace does surprises me. I'm not surprised to be surprised, is how I should say it. Jace continuously surprises me, but I'm not surprised that I am surprised. Does that make sense? Small face is smiling. So we're going to wrap things up in just a moment or two. Hey, Jace, a little bit ago, I haven't been able to check, but Stuart reached out on Messenger. So maybe you can get him to get some reps with you. Jace is live in 15. Who are you going to be with, Jace? Softface says everything he does when he joins your live makes me die of laughter. I agree. I agree. Tony says Jace to define your analytics was a lot more than the earn. Mine is like 50 different, 500 different. You know what? I never looked at my analytics. I just went to the little earn button on the side panel, and I checked that every day. Bill Clark says, "Hey brother, do you have any quotes that are your favorite? My phone is low on charge. This is my Canon laptop." Gotcha. I have quite a few, and of course, when I start to think of them, I start drawing a blank. Of course, I love almost every line from Course in Miracles. My favorite lately has been the one holy true thing that one can say about the past is that it's not here. And of course, the quote from the introduction that the Course can be summed up with only love is real, nothing unreal exists, therein lies the peace of God. Hey, Trending. Trending's in the background. Appreciate that, Trending. I enjoyed your dancing short. What do you say? Hi there, Del Clark. Del says hi to Goldie. Chris says, very true, we keep the past here. And the amazing thing, it's a thought. The past is no more than a thought. What a great self-inquiry that you can do anytime that you are experiencing any type of negativity due from the past. Who would you be in this moment without that thought? In the absence of that thought, what would you be doing? What would you be experiencing? If you didn't have a thought about the past, you wouldn't be suffering the effects of the past. Now, people might say, but wouldn't that leave us open to repeating mistakes? No, because when we have the gift of discernment, doesn't mean that we lose wisdom, doesn't mean that we lose discernment. Let's see, Chris says we can change our lives with thoughts. Absolutely. It's the whole basic lesson of A Course in Miracles, as well as the Tao Te Ching. Wayne Dyer did a reinterpretation of the Tao called change your thoughts, change your life. And of course, two things. People think, how difficult is that to change your thoughts? And others think, how is it necessary to even do so? The thing is, it's a very, very gentle. Course in Miracles makes it simple. Turn your thoughts over to the Holy Spirit. Now, when we use the term Holy Spirit, don't think of it in terms related solely to Christianity. Although the Course is using the language of Christianity, it has actually more in common with Buddhism as well as Vedanta. It's two thought systems. We have the thought system of the ego, which always speaks first and is always wrong. And we have the thought system of the Holy Spirit, or pure spirit, or the voice of love, or the voice of Christ consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Buddha consciousness, which is always right and is always spoken in the pure silence of love. But since the ego speaks first, speaks loud, and is always wrong, we listen to that. And we sort of careen through life, wondering, why do we keep making these same mistakes? Because we keep listening to the same voice. However, with that gift of discernment, and when we realize there's two voices, but only one is real, the ego is an illusion. As neuroscience shows, as yoga shows, as Buddhism shows, as mystical Christianity shows, the great mystics. So why would we believe in a fiction? Fictitious. Did I use that right? But it's been a huge relief for me. Because moment by moment by moment, when I find myself caught up in situations or caught up in conditions, caught up in uh, happenings that are not to my best interest, that are where I'm fighting myself or I'm fighting other people, or I feel combative or defensive. As soon as I feel any of those, I just have to turn it over to that silent voice, turn it over to my heart center, the Holy Spirit, if you will, and surrender. This is a greater wisdom than my own. Unfortunately, I spent a lifetime, maybe not quite a lifetime, but a lot of it listening to that wrong voice. Smallface says, why do I project when walking around basically torturing myself? Is it because I haven't let go of some past trauma? Because projecting is what we do until we realize that we are projecting, until we realize that everything we perceive is a projection. And as soon as we can start seeing that, we can start to let it go. There's going back to those two systems, the voice of the ego, the voice of the Holy Spirit, is we have projection, which always comes from the ego, always comes from our misperception, always comes from the fact that we feel small and separate, and we feel guilty that we believe that we are separate from the source, the universe, or we can be an extension of love. This is why, of course, Miracle says only love is real, nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. So if you are experiencing anything that is not love, you are experiencing the illusion of projection from the ego standpoint. If you wish to experience something other, all you got to do is see it's a projection, see that it's an illusion. The entirety of yoga is learning how to see. They call it the five kleshas, the five afflictions of the mind. I won't go into it right now. I have quite a few times, but it's the five afflictions of the mind: ignorance, aversions, attachments, fear. That we're seeing the world through those lenses. But when we are aware that those kleshas exist, the aversions exist, they begin to disappear just through the power of awareness itself. When we are aware, now we're given a choice. But without any awareness, we don't have a choice. We're always acting upon those kleshas. Let's see. Chris says defensiveness can be good only in very scary situations, briefly for protection. That's a good point. I liken that to the difference between reaction and responsiveness. That we need to be reactive when we are in a dicey situation on the road, when we react without even thinking about it. When, as Chris was saying, if we are attacked in a dangerous situation, we want to be reactive. It's evolutionary. Reactive to save ourselves from the saber-toothed tiger or chase down the woolly mammoth. However, evolution has sort of messed up a bit because now we are reactionary to all kinds of stuff: traffic jams, long lines, bosses yelling at us, disagreement with a spouse, barking dogs. All of it causes us to be reactive when we should be responsive. Responsibility, our ability to respond. Hey, Greg. Greg, how are you? Nice to see you, my friend. Road rage, exactly. And just by bringing that level of awareness, things begin to change. Now, yoga has a, some might view it as, same with Buddhism, a complicated psychology to it, with the projection through those five kleshas and how we use the ethical foundation of yoga and the asanas, the postures, pranayama, and stages of meditation. Same with Buddhism. Course in Miracles says forgive, simplifies it. You want to see through your perception? You want to see through the reactionary life that we're living? Hey, Jody, forgive. Forgive doesn't mean I am saying I'm sorry, or doesn't mean that I'm letting you off the hook for something that you did. Forgiveness returns you true forgiveness on a quantum level. Doesn't even use time. It simply sticks to this present moment. In this moment, what is there to forgive? Still about Admonson, who our friend Dale is familiar with, says, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it? Jody says, Greg, how are you? Jody says, hey to everyone. Nice to see you, Jody. Small face is laughing. Happy Reaper's here, says Yogi. How are you? Hey, Reaper, how are you? Jody says, Luis. And Chris says, forgiveness is not to harbor, yet unawareness keeps you aware to not be in shock. Let me read that again. Forgiveness is not to harbor, yet awareness keeps you aware to not be in shock. Okay. Here's one of my favorite descriptions of forgiveness. Forgiveness is giving up all hope of a better past. Forgiveness is giving up all hope of a happier past. You will never have a happier past. You will never have a better past. And as long as you are using this present moment to try to have a happier past or a better past, you are causing suffering in this moment. Now you're experiencing psychological suffering. Do you want a better past? As the Buddha says in the Dhammapada, in the twin verses of the Dhammapada, you want a better past? Then use this moment to be happier, to be more joyful, to be forgiving, to be loving, to be kind. Because then, when the next moment unfolds, you have created a better past. A better past exists within the moment. A better future exists within this moment. Because all you have is this moment. Reaper says, I'm doing great, almost done with my lunch break. Nice. Sniper says, Reaper is stationary. I find that hard to believe. I've never seen Reaper stationary before. Bill says, I try to add you on Facebook, but it says it appears I don't know this person, so I can't add you. I will look into it tomorrow. Hey, if you send me a message, it'll come up as a message saying, like, you don't know this person, but I can reply, and then we can connect. So, yep, just send a message. Trending says Reaper. Reaper's loot to Sniper. Yep, Goldie says the same thing. Bill Clark trying Messenger. We got a Buddha. Goldie says, hi there, trending. Bill says, thanks, Goldie. Download Messenger. William says, say to Luis. Smallface says, oh, that's really deep. Be better now to create a better past. Amazingly well said, Eric. Thank you, Smallface. You guys certainly inspire. Bill says, I like what you said, that the past is a thought. So is the future, mind you. Yep. All of it. And like you mentioned still about Admonson and his book, What's Wrong with Right Now If You Don't Think About It? He says, Del Clark, that's how I communicate with Eric. Reaper said, or Rowan says, I was debating visiting Los Angeles, Reaper. Reaper says, Ryan Hurt, how are you? Sniper says, Burpee Reaper ain't spinning. Trust me, Eric. He'll back me up. All right. Sniper says, trust me. I trust him. Sniper says, or Reaper says, Sniper, Yogi, he meant the world don't spin, and I believe that as well. Reaper says, William coming down to Cali. And Goldie says, hi there, William Hurt, long time no see. Yeah, but William popped up, I think it was around Christmas time. Or maybe, actually, it wasn't that long ago, a week or so. All right, we're going to be wrapping things up in just a minute. Awesome conversation with you guys, as always. I was going to wrap things up, but you know what? As I say, when the Burpee Reaper shows up, you got to stay a little bit longer. Out of respect. Chris says, great live, Eric. I needed it. Thank you, Nature. I appreciate your input. You open it up to you and Smallface just open it up in a brand new way, which is awesome. Thank you, guys. Add on the tablet again. Worm says, hey, Goldie, how are you? Reaper says, appreciate that, Eric. 100. Absolutely, my friend. I have the highest regard and respect for the Burpee Reaper. Reaper says, let's let you go, Yogi. Chris is smiling. Goldie says, I'm good knitting. Smallface says, great stuff, Eric. It got deep. You are now Mr. Deepface. I'll take that. I'll take Mr. Deepface. Reaper says, I'll see you all later, family. Chris says, Mr. Deepface, love it. Yeah, I like that too. Joe says, I've read some people with training can read minds, affect people through thoughts, predict the apparent future, and even bilocate and things like that. Is that true or just fantasy stuff? Well, that's actually outlined through Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, that as we develop in meditation, that things like that can certainly happen. However, as Patanjali said, as Buddha said, as every yogic master said, don't get caught up in tricks. Don't get caught up in the toys of the illusion. And that's what they are. They're toys. It's not realization. It's a parlor trick, you know? And it just distracts us from ultimate awakening. Here's what it's come down for me. I read this the other day. Let me read this and then I'll go. This is from Aldous Huxley. And it explains my position. Huxley wrote the Perennial Philosophy. He was a great mind, a great philosopher, a great thinker. And here's what he said. It's a little embarrassing that after 45 years of research and study, the best advice I can give people is to be a little kinder to each other. So after 40 plus years of meditation, practicing yoga, some little skirts into Buddhism, Sufism, and 30 plus years of A Course in Miracles, my advice, try to be a little kinder to each other. Try to be a little kinder to yourself. That's what counts. That's what matters. I chased enlightenment for a long time. I would have loved to develop psychic powers. every once in a while you get a spontaneous gift when you're meditating of having a clear insight to guide you, and that's wonderful when it happens. If you chase it, it just gets farther away, and it leads you to a path that is not conductive to awakening. And when I say awakening, I mean your heart awakening to love, to kindness, to being gentle. That's it. What it all comes down to. Introduction to A Course in Miracles. Only love is real. Nothing unreal exists. Therein lies the peace of God. That hit me like a ton of bricks. And the great realization for me was I want the peace of God, which means that, as the Course says, it doesn't teach the way or the means of love because that can't be taught. But what it does is remove all the blocks that keep us from the awareness of love. So my life and my channel is devoted to me removing my own obstacles that keep me from realizing love moment by moment by moment. And you guys are my teachers, and I much appreciate that. Thanks, Dale. I appreciate that. Temper says Dale Clark heard of the Akashic Records. And Chris says, we never know on what day someone might be experiencing fragileness, if that is a word. If it isn't a word, it absolutely should be. And you're absolutely true. Fragileness or mental instability. Yep. So we just try to be a little kinder. That's it. Just a little kinder. I wrote about that. It's on my community page. I wrote about that yesterday. Almost every day I write about kindness in some form or another. It has come down to that's all that matters to me. Am I always kind? No. I always try to be kind. I always try to remember to be kind. And it's become more and more my way of expression, more and more. Hey, Daisy. Daisy says, hey, Yogi, how are you today? I'm good. Chris says, Daisy May. He says, hey, nature. Some of my all-time favorite live streamers are here. Mama Chris, Daisy May, Tandra. I probably spend more time on your live streams, along with Mary's gigs, Specs. She goes a little later, so sometimes I miss her though. Of course, Toy Pups. Sophie says, so Daisy, Yogi's packing up. Yep. So as I told, Tandra, I spent a lot of time, watching Daisy, watching Tandra, for watch hours, helping them with watch hours. But they are so much part of the fabric of my everyday life that it doesn't matter when they get watch hours because I will be there watching them, hanging out, either in the background or, there. William had said, fragileness, maybe, fragility, definitely. Gotcha. Thanks, William. Daisy says, just took Daisy May for a nice walk at the dog park. Sweet little Daisy May. She has probably the sweetest little dog face of any dog ever. Don't let Mocha's dog Misty hear me say that. Warren says, exciting, Goldie. Will you share progress on YouTube or Facebook? Daisy says, hi, Goldie. Daisy says, thank you. You're so kind. Thanks, Yogi. Absolutely, Daisy. Daisy says, I enjoy your stream so much, too, even if I'm just listening. Hey, speaking of which, Daisy, I really appreciate you, your comments on my nature shorts. Thank you. I had 2 awesome days of nature filming. I was under a tree with 2 owls on a very windy day, watching the branches go back and forth. And today, I saw lots of deer. And I got to spend time with a fox. He just sat there looking at me. Chris says, Eric, you're very knowledgeable. As far as like spiritual and stuff, I have acquired a lot of knowledge over the years. I'm doing my best to let most of it go so that I can focus on what's important, which comes back to kindness. Daisy says, thank you. We think she's adorable too. That face right there. Yep, she is. Roy says, speaking of dog walking, I'm leaving to walk mine. She's excited as I just finished cooking her bacon treats. Nice. Daisy says, you're welcome, my friend. I love that stuff. And you do, I love your herons. I love all of your bird videos. Cody says, enjoy the walk, William Hart. Chris says, I love that when animals enjoy to spend time with his people. Yeah, I do. Me too. The deer just looking at me, the fox just sitting there, like, yep, you and I spending some time together. Cody says, speaking of walking, I might go live tomorrow after your morning live, Eric McCartney. Nice. I will be on the lookout for you, Cody. It's been a while. Chris says, have a nice walk to William. Tanya says, hi to Daisy. Smallface says, Cody, I'll try to tune in. Nice. Daisy says, hi, Chandra. All right. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Very much appreciate it. I will be back in like 2.5 hours or so. Wrap things up for the day. Cody says, thank you, Smallface. It has been a while since we walked with Goldie. Daisy says, thank you, Yogi. Good to see you today. Thanks, Daisy. Daisy says, love to all. Bye, friends. Bye, guys. Thanks again for hanging out with me. If you're around, if you're bored, if you got nothing better to do, come on by. I think tonight we're going to do some breath work. I would like to demonstrate the moon piercing breath. I keep mentioning it. Hey, Eric LaPointe, thank you, my friend. Friend says, bye all. We get and Jules from Eric LaPointe. Thanks. I love the jewels, guys. It will be available to everyone either next month or in March at the latest. Get a thumbs up. So if you're around, remind me to do the moon piercing breath. Chandra Bedandra. I don't know what's worse, my Sanskrit or my English. And as the fact that I am a native English speaker, this is not a good comparison, guys. Goldie says, thank you for a lovely live in chat. Thank you for help making it so lovely, Goldie, as always, as you always do. Thank you, guys. Take care.